All right, today we're going to talk about our quadratic applications or word problems, and we're going to focus on area and volume problems first, and then we'll do consecutive integers in a second. All right, so first off, when you have a word problem, the hardest part is translating. So what I like to do is if it gives you a shape, I like to draw the shape so I can see what it is. And it says a rectangle has a width that is 5 feet less than the length. So when I translate it, I say width is, is 5 feet less than the length. Well, it didn't tell me what the length is, so I know that this other measurement is going to be length. So I'm setting everything, I'm making x equal to length, and I know that if your length is x, I know the width is going to be x minus 5. All right, then it tells us the area of the rectangle is 126. I know area is length times width, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take in the values. And since it's times, we're going to multiply. And I'll get x squared minus 5x. We said the area is 126. So go ahead, we're going to set this equal to 0. So I need to move this over to this side. And then, so I subtracted 126 from both sides. And I'm going to get x squared minus 5x equals negative 126. And now it's set equal to 0. Now that it's set equal to 0, we can go ahead and we can factor. So we know that a times c is negative 126. And we know it has to add or combine to be negative 5. So when you go and you look at your factors, you'll get 9 and 14. And this has to be negative because we have a negative in the middle. So far so good. I did not equal that to 0. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to take this and set it equal to 0. And you'll get x equals negative 9. We're going to take this, set it equal to 0, and you'll get x equals 14. Now, here's something that you have to think about. You cannot have a negative length. So this is not the correct answer. So one of your answers or your length is 14. Now, to get the width, we know if length equals 14, we know the width is 14 minus 5, which is 9. So your answers are 14 and 9. All right, so now let's go ahead. I've got this one kind of set up for you, but it says each side of the square length, so I've got a square, so I'm drawing a square, is lengthened by 7. So when it's lengthened, you're adding 7. The area of the new larger square is 81. So we know area is length times width, and we know it's equal to 81. So now go ahead, do FOIL, distributing, however you like to say it, but when you do that, you should get x squared plus 7x plus 7x plus 49 equals 81. Combine like terms, equals 81. Now we're going to set it equal to 0 by moving 81 over here. So you should have x squared plus 14x minus 32 equals 0. So now we need to factor this. So we need to go 1 times negative 32. But it needs to combine to give you positive 14. And again, when you look at your factors, you're going to get 16 and negative 2x. And then now we're going to group those, and we're going to get x times x plus 16. And with this, we're going to get negative 2 outside with x plus 16 in the middle. This makes your first set. These should be the same, which makes your second set equal to 0. And once you do this, you're going to get x equals 2 and x equals negative 16. Well, you can't use that answer because it's a negative, so our only solution would be 2. So it'd be a 2 by 2, or your length is 2, width is 2. All right, so now I want you to go ahead and I want you to try this one. So I already kind of set it up for you, where it says the height of the triangle is 3 inches less than twice the length of the base. So 3 inches less than twice the length of the base. So total area would be base times height divided by 2. So I set this up for you. Go ahead and solve for x. And if you did it correctly, you should get 3.5 by 4. Now for verbal models, this is just taking the information and translating. So square of a number is decreased, so decrease is your key here, by 15. And when you say a square of a number, that just means to the second power. This value is twice the original, so x equals the original number. All right, so now you're just going to finish this. So we're going to move this over to the other side, and you're going to get x squared minus 2x minus 15 equals 0. I want you to go through and finish this, and if you did it correctly, you should get -3, -5. Number 2 on this section is 3 times the sum, so we're going 3 times the sum of twice a number and 2 is equal to the square of a number decreased by 1. So now that you got that, we're going to move, first we have to distribute, so you get 6x plus 6. Now we need to take this and move it over to this side, or we can take this and move it over to this side. Now what I would do is, since this is already plus, I would definitely move everything over here. So we're going to subtract 6x, and then those are going to simplify to give you 0, and you're left with x squared minus 6x minus 7. So again, go through, you're going to factor, and once you factor, you should get x minus 7 and x plus 1, set each one equal to 0. So your answer should be 7 equals x and -1 equals x. Now in this case, we can have a negative number because we're not dealing with lengths or ages or anything like that. So it is okay to have both of these as your answer. All right. I want you to go ahead and I want you to try this one. If you do it correctly, your answer should be 10 and 7. I will give you a hint. There will be a number that you can't use because we only want integers. So integers, remember, are positive and negative whole numbers. So that's your hint. So your final answers should be 10 and 7. All right, now good old consecutive integers. We've been doing this for a while, so remember, if it's a consecutive integer, you're just adding 1 each time to the one before. So x plus 1, x plus 2. Consecutive even and consecutive odd are set up the same way. You both have the same, or you both have x to start. Your starting points are different, but you're always adding 2, then adding 4, adding 6, so on and so forth. So for this one, it says find 2 consecutive even integers such that the square of the smaller is 10 more than the larger. So what I like to do is I always do my let statements to figure out what it is. So I know my first number is going to be x. I know my second number is going to be x plus 2. So this is the square of the smaller. So your smaller squared. And then is 10 more than the larger. Well, the larger is x plus 2. So now combine like terms, and I'm going to get x squared equals x plus 12. Now since the x squared is positive over here, I'm going to move everything over to this side. All right, go ahead and factor. So you should get this. And then once you group it, you should get x plus 3, x minus 4 equals 0. And your final answer should be -3 and 4. So when you're looking at this, in this case, you want consecutive even integers. Well, that's not even, so we can't use this one, but we can use this one. So now that we have 4, I know that 4 is the first number, so 4 and then 6 would be the next. All right, and the reason why we cannot use an odd number. All right, so, oops, that 6 is really bad. Let me change that. There we go. All right, so now let's look at the next one. product, so product means you're multiplying, of two consecutive integers. So I've got my first integer, which is x, and it doesn't say even or odd, so we know that the second number is just x plus 1. Product means you're multiplying your 2, is 5 more than 3 times the larger. So we're taking 3 times the larger plus 5. So now go ahead and multiply that out, combine like terms. And then now, since we've got the plus x over here, we're going to move these guys over to this side. And you'll get x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0. Go ahead, factor. And then when you factor it out, you should get x plus 2x minus 4 equals 0. And then in this case, they are both, it doesn't specify even or odd, so we can use both of those. So, however, this is one last part. If x is negative 2, I know that the other number is going to be negative 1, because you go negative 2 plus 1 equals negative 1. And then I know if x is 4, then 4 plus 1 equals 5. So it would be 2, negative 1, 4, and 5. All right, I want you to go ahead. I want you to try this one. Consecutive integers. So remember, it should be x, x plus 1, x plus 2. And then the square of the age of the youngest. So the first is going to be the youngest, and then they're going to be the oldest because they have more years. So if you did this correctly, you should have 10, 11, and 12. And then that are your quadratic applications.